Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
And good evening. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, where pop culture gets blasted. And tonight we are looking at the pre-launch and some behind-the-scenes peeks at the actual launch of Rebound #1. And with us we have the Rising Stars Rising Star, Mr. Tyson J. Rock. Tyson, welcome to the show. How are you today, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's a pleasant surprise to have this interview done early, but yeah, I'll take it.
Well, you know, things happen. I had a fellow lined up for an interview today, and his people called me this morning and said, "Hey, he's got an acting gig, and he's going to be, out of town for a little bit." I'm like, "Okay, I'll fill it with somebody else." And I think I had you for what? I had you for Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I looked at it, I'm like, I got to travel Friday, so it just kind of worked out.
Oh, yeah. I was all like, oh, wow. When I saw the email, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Well, I'm glad you did. So I'm getting a big return to the 90s kind of vibe from this. It seems like
yeah.
Your goal there.
Oh, yeah. 90s. Yeah, like I would say the Copper Age, like where I'm going for would be 84 to 92 type deal. Like I feel like that's, probably the peak when it comes to comic book storytelling. And I wanted that back, and it became overwhelmingly clear the Big Two was never going to go back to it. So here we are.
Yeah, it's interesting that you call it the Copper Age, and we've had, before that was the Bronze Age and Silver.
Well,
why is it that the newer comics get the lesser valuable metal we assign to them?
Oh,
it seems like we're denigrating our own generation of comics.
Yeah, that is a funny way to put it. Yeah, I always thought like what I heard was like the Bronze Age would be like 75 to 83, and the Copper Age would be like 84 92. But you could probably call it all Bronze Age if you like. It's
Yeah.
I guess it's just specifics or whatever.
But at some point, are we in like the aluminum age now,
Yeah.
where
Well,
it comes out hot real fast and then immediately it's cool and nobody wants it?
yeah, that's a good question.
Hello, Jay Lee out there in the chat. Glad you're here today, my friend. James is a regular on our Sunday night open mics, so we're always glad to see you around. It's been a busy day around the office. As such as it is, we have been packing and bagging and getting ready for things to go. For anybody seen The Sin Killer out there, I will let you know that if you ordered it from the United States, it's here. And Blast Logistics is packing them up and getting them all ready to go tonight and tomorrow morning. So early this week, they will be in the loving, capable hands of the United States Postal Service on their way to you.
Yeah. Oh, nice little promotion there, but that was pretty good.
You got to promote where you can.
I understand.
And
I know all about that.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to promote, the Rebound graphic novel. Now, this. I'm looking at your YouTube page here. We have the actual pre-launch, which is where you can go, which is the link that you actually have on screen.
Yeah. That's what we sign up on.
But then we also say, here's what's actually going to be in it when it goes live.
Right now it's all tentative, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you have not done a campaign before, Tyson?
Nope, and it's been a huge learning process for me, and but it was each lesson learned was valuable, and hopefully that'll be enough by the time I get there.
Now, no campaigns before is not a big deal, because we all had our first campaign somewhere. Even I had a campaign at one time, and that'll make comics. So, but what's your is this your first comic book, or have you done these before somehow?
Well, I mean, I've been trying to make a comic for a long time, but this is literally the first when it comes to everything getting together and actually making it. Like I've been trying for a long time. It's never gotten past like the drawing board. It's because I've had to learn and this whole time and grow as a storyteller. And I had this little thing called world builder syndrome, where I got too obsessed with all the details, and so I finally figured out a good system for myself and just kind of half plan and half improvise.
Yeah, you fly by the seat of your pants and let the world build itself around you. Sometimes is the way to go.
Yeah. In fact, honestly, that's done me a lot of good because some of the best stuff I've done so far is stuff I didn't plan until a few days ago. So yeah.
All right, so tell us about Rebound number 1, subtitled "The Starting Line."
Just
what's the title mean, and who's going to be in it? Is Rebound a character? He's
the guy down there who's dueling with Coil. Well, the villain of the story, Coil.
All right, and he does have a big R on his chest, so yeah, okay, that works.
Yeah,
I like that big bug-eyed mask on him too.
Yeah, like that was a funny thing. Like what I went for was I noticed in like crowdfunding, CG or otherwise, there was no one doing the whole Spider-Man throwback angle like a lot of other stuff, but no Spider-Man until maybe like Arachna came out. But it's still a bit different. That was before I even knew that existed. So yeah, I decided to go for
nothing at all like Spider-Man. Even the closest thing to Spider-Man that came out of crowdfunding, I think, was White Widow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess Arachna is not too much like Spider-Man than the spider similarities there, but
yeah.
Beyond
and I'm
that,
waiting for that one to arrive too. I backed that one, so
same here.
I can't wait to get my on that one. So this 48-page graphic novel is a complete story, or is this first chapter of an ongoing saga?
Oh yes, it's but yes, it is like on one hand, it is the first part of a larger ongoing, but at the same time, it's definitely written in a way where you can read it from start to finish and feel satisfied. There's no like bait and switch cliffhanger or anything at the end. And it's a pretty good introduction, I would say.
All right. So you got your main character here is Kyle Mercer.
Yeah.
19 years old. He's in college.
Actually, he's still figuring it out. He hasn't figured out what he's going to do yet, other than be a superhero, because he's at a weird point. But he's trying to figure out what he wants to do besides that.
So this is his life where it's post Secret Origin. He's already Rebound.
Yeah, he's been in it for 2 years, and so that means he's moderately experienced, but not like has it all down. And let's see, what was I going to say? How should I put this? Yeah, there's going to be a flashback in the story, and it'll show his origin, but it won't give away too much other than what you need to know at the moment.
Okay. Now, I recognize some of the names that flew across the screen of the video there. I mean, Eric Weather is going to be doing the lettering.
Yeah.
We all know who Eric is.
Oh yeah, I think you have to get him to letter everything.
Yeah, well, he's the busiest man in crowdfunding comics right now.
Yeah.
So I know that, and I forgot that name. So, but somebody's doing a cover.
Yeah, Matt Weldon. He's going to do I'm not going to say specific, but it's going to be a homage cover to a Spider-Man comic from the 80s. Not going to give away which one yet. It'll be a surprise.
Anything other than 300, please.
Oh yeah,
we're 300 a verse, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not that one. It's actually it's all right. It's not that one. Trust me.
Gotcha. So obviously, we're not at a stage here where we're going to see word bubbles. We can't really, get too much story from the shots we've got here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing alien ships. I'm seeing, sort of a cosmic cube kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it does look a lot like that. I mean, the way that's more like the ship is not alien specifically, just like a high-tech hover ship used by the bad guys. And that's an anti-gravity device at the Science Expo, and it's made by some kid in Kentucky. It's like a science fair, but it's super. So people show off their advanced creations, and word has it that even superheroes are browsing it for possible geniuses to scout out.
You're gonna need some gimmicks, so find out somebody who can make them.
Yeah.
And then you said this is the bad guy, so I'm guessing that's him jumping out. Well, one of the guys jumping out of the hovercraft here.
Yeah, that's Coil. He's riding on his little metal board that he propels his electricity, kind of like with static.
Okay, I gotcha. It looks like a giant electrical powered skateboard of some kind.
Yeah, I wanted him to have some kind of transport, but I didn't just want him to fly on electricity, so I came up with that. It would have to look stylish.
So he is an electrical powered person here.
Yeah, he's an electricity wielding gun for hire. Someone hired him to attack the expo to kidnap the scientist here, named Dr. Angela Tesler, for an experiment.
It doesn't apparently go so well here because suddenly everybody
Oh
died.
yeah. Yeah, that's because another superhero was here. He was scouting out someone to be his protege, and it turned out he was the Armor 5. That's the armored superhero there. And it wasn't accounted for that.
It looks like a bunch of stabby things went through everybody.
Yeah, here's a funny thing. There's this thing with script writing where things that seem so obvious to you isn't so obvious to the artist. So I just said he takes all of them out with these focused concussion blasts in it, and he originally thought it killed them. And one of the art you see below originally had blood, like he killed them all. And I had to say no, he didn't kill them; he just incapacitated them. And they removed all the blood. James
is telling me I'm having back delay feedback. I don't know what that is. If I'm hearing an echo, I would understand that.
Yeah, I guess it's a little fuzzy at times. It wasn't as bad as earlier when behind the scenes, but it's manageable. But I'm not sure if it's that he's referring to.
Yeah, sometimes this microphone just does it. Let me.
Yeah, am I coming through loud and clear on my end?
Before anybody speaks, I'll do this. Maybe that'll take the sound of the output of the laptop away from the microphone.
Yeah, sounds a lot smoother. I only hear a tiny bit, but it's not really noticeable. I have to be paying attention to pick it up. So
Okay, I have to remember that now. I have to keep I got so used to not having the microphone, just using the built-in mic and the built-in speakers, and that they filtered rather well. So
yeah, man. But what was I gonna say? Like in the script, I just said he took all of them out with a bunch of consecutive blasts. He thought it killed them, and like in the original draft, like page, he had them all bleeding out. I was like, oh, geez, he just murdered those guys straight up. So I had to tell him, no, he just knocked them out, and they're getting taken to jail, and he removed that.
What was your artist an Italian mafioso family members? Like, yeah, take them out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like it's just funny. Like the wording, you could have easily interpreted it as being like, yeah, he killed them, because I didn't say he didn't kill them. So I was like, oh crap. Thing is, he totally would kill his enemies if he had to. I mean, he wouldn't have to hear. And I was worried also make like Rebound look a bit like a psychopath, because he wouldn't be fazed by all the death, and he doesn't like to kill.
Doesn't look like I'm gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room on this page.
Yeah.
That's Psylocke.
Oh yeah, that's right. Funny thing is, that's what I was aiming for. She's like a cyber ninja character, like Systema. And the reason it started out like this, originally, when it came out with Systema, she was just a character who used discount power armor that was worse than Armor 5. And I was like, no, I need to make her more interesting. So I looked at the comics at Marvel, and I was like, no, there's nothing interesting there. But why don't I go back in time and kind of come up with something? And then, I came up with Systema. Like, and here she hacks into his suit and turns it off just as he's absorbing his electricity. And he's like, oh, shit. And that's when Rebound comes in with a dynamic entry like that. Yeah. In fact, that's what he actually says out loud right there in the bubble. Well, when it comes out. Like originally he was going to say tally ho, but then I noticed it looks just like I'm not sure if you've ever seen Naruto, but it looks just like the dynamic entry kick. So I was like, I'm just going to add dynamic entry.
There you go.
Yeah, sometimes the art just changes like that. Like, with a word, when you get the art, it works.
Yeah, so many looks. They're starting to, we're running out of new looks. I think though your Rebound character's got an interesting look to him, and it's a unique look. It's got the beetle, the kind of the blue beetle eyes, and the Spider-Man head, and if Spider-Man were catching Pokemon with Team Rocket, this is what I would expect him to wear.
Oh, yeah, like and then Coiled, and I was not happy with that. He blasts him. He thinks like, he blasts him away. He thinks like, this guy's an amateur. I'm going to focus on the real target, Armor 5. And then he dodges a blast. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to take him out. And then boom, Rebound hits him right then and there. And then this is actually there's actually a page missing here because he didn't finish the draft yet. But this is where the ship up there actually shoots lasers at it because Systema commands it to, and then they escape. And this is the aftermath. So that part is missing right now, sadly.
Okay. Looks like Rebound is reading the riot act here to Armor 5.
Oh no, it's actually the funny thing is Armor 5 is the one who's grilling him. Like, he's like, you're a kid, you're getting yourself at risk, you could have gotten yourself killed, and he's doing that. He's like what he says is, you know what's worse than having to deal with children? Super powered children. He's like, what does that mean? And he's like, exactly what you think it means.
So they're not best friends.
Yeah, I mean, he is his thing. Like, I noticed that a lot of like comics throughout the years, like when it comes to younger superheroes, like the adult heroes, whether they're trying to or not, they often come off as elitist to the younger ones. and that's right. That was right there. That's going to build up to something later.
Now this is the other name.
Art by Sashi Pertiga.
Yeah, I remember Miss Sashi. I used to see a lot of her online, and then she kind of just sort of faded out of the media, probably for her sanity.
Oh yeah, I kind of thought of that. I mean, funny thing is, this was actually drawn quite a while back. I think it was in February, so maybe it was maybe she's on break or something.
No, I mean, I haven't seen her in like a year and a half. I don't mean like I haven't seen her since February.
Oh, dang.
All for a while, and then so I would guess at this point, reading your first book, the focus is on the book. It's not on let's have prints, let's have metal covers, let's have 3D.
Yeah, that's figures. Right. That's right. It's and like even the stretch goals you see down there, a lot of them are like tentative. Like maybe I'll do it, like maybe I won't. I'm just trying to throw it out there to see if it's feasible by the time I launch. The one thing I am wanting to do is the Substack page, because I want to do this as a regularly updated ongoing series. And I see the potential there to pair it with crowdfunding and online store. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can get it into stores all across America. But that comes later if everything goes right.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people who've done it. Again, we mentioned White Widow earlier. They started out crowdfunding. I think they still crowdfund. And then once they're done crowdfunding, they've got their crowdfunding issue, and then they've got their mass market issue cover. And the mass market's the one that goes to obviously the stores.
Yeah, man, it's like that. I think I see the potential for Substack, and I can see why a lot of the let's just say the lesser talent were getting all upset about it. And I hope to be able to the stretch goal. It says I can get to a certain point. I'll be able to fund like a comic to put on Substack. Might be the subsequent issue. It'll be 22 pages, and it'll be free where you'll go and see it, and then they get enticed and be able to subscribe once I introduce that, and then I can get the physical version later. But it won't be add on to the main book, because I've heard all sorts of horror stories about when people try to do stuff like that. I might later on do a campaign, be like second chance, and they'll pair like the bonus story with the main story into one big one book.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to some Substacks, but they're like essay Substacks, and they're like not costing me any money Substacks.
I mean, this thing is still new, and obviously they've been going out getting deals with people because they want other people like me to get on there. I mean, some people have already done that, like Von Klaus did that, and he's already working on some cool stuff, and that's neat. Hope to see that expansion, because let's put it this way: one of the things that's been hard with crowdfunding and like CG and all that stuff is just how long it takes. Like I get the comic and it's great, but then it's like I would love to read the next issue, but I gotta wait like a year or so.
Well, there it depends on the team.
Yeah,
it used to be the excuse that, hey, this takes time. We have to, obviously we've got to create this book. We're not a big company. So, it's going to be like a year and a half between your issues of Cyberfrog and what have you. But at the same time, Tim Lim and Mark Pellegrini are putting out, a Common America every 3 months. Miskatonic High is up to issue 12 over the last year and a half. So it can be done.
It can.
These people are showing how, but maybe they need to teach some master classes on this is how you get on a schedule.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, let's see. I'm thinking like a lot of the time, like a lot of things that hold people back is not making the story itself. It's the technical difficulties of adding all this stuff to it. So I think that's what I'm hoping for, to try to not add a bunch of stuff that'll delay the campaign, like adding additional pages or all this fancy stuff. And if I make additional stories, I put on the Substack first, and then later on I can make a bigger edition or release the individual floppies.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how it goes for you blending Substack with crowdfunding.
I'm kind of curious.
Both crowds are of the mindset that I'm getting something no one else is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing we'll have to see. I mean, some people are already like trying to do it. Like I mentioned Von Klaus earlier, he's already planning on that. Like you mentioned a series I asked him about called I think it was called Lancer. He said he was going to work on that and the episodically on Substack, and he's going to crowdfund the release later, and that's kind of what I had in mind with this. So hopefully that's a thing that happens more as this whole thing moves. You know, it's nice to see this whole thing develop. It's exciting.
You know, it wouldn't be the first time that this actually happens. I mean, it's maybe the first time with Substack, but I know that, you know, Nina D. Aberline, sorry, Nina, she put out her book on Webtoons first, and then she reformatted it all for a big, thick, fat trade paperback. And, you know, Adam Post did the same thing with Mermaids. It was a web comic first, and then got reformatted into, you know, regular graphic novel format. So it's, you know, the precedent's there.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time has to pass between one to the other.
Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to see what all can be done because I really want to work on an episodic series I can do regularly because I think comic books in general, like they really thrive when you get that regular release with regular installments, especially when it's done episodically and you get a good story each time.
Yes.
It's like EVS, he said that his stuff was like a big movie, and I get what he's going for. At the same time, like a movie, it's like 2.5 hours. Like you read through the comic, it's like 15 minutes or 30 at most. I mean, that's no shade at him. He's awesome, but you know, it's not my style.
I'm still hearing that my audio is crackly, and I am not finding any loose connections anywhere. So I don't know why it would be doing that unless there's like only thing I could think is that there's a drain on the internet speed here at some point, but that shouldn't affect audio quality. That should just cause a lag.
Oh, I want to show you something. Well, my artist, Andrea Arico, like the cover, well, it was, I said it was like a variant was going to be a homage earlier, but this one was inspired by an existing art that, well, it's not quite a homage because it's not famous, but it was pretty neat to see it. I'll put it up for you.
Yeah, share that page out here.
Let me know if this looks familiar.
I'm just waiting to see it.
It's in the chat.
Oh, you sent me a link.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll just toss it over.
And then put it up the full screen.
It's big.
Oh, yeah, but he drew inspiration from a nice art piece, and I was like, ooh, I didn't even know about that until I went to his social media.
Okay, I see it now. Look at that, some Spider-Man art. You got your electrical guy and your and your jumping guy against the Electro versus Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's it's a really neat. I didn't even know he was inspired by that until I posted the cover on social media earlier, and then he saw that, and it was all right for him to post that. He said he looked to this one for the cover, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, it's just clever because it's not exactly an iconic cover, but it's a really good source of inspiration.
It is, and you know what? You can tell instantly by looking at this that hey, these look like they're one's an homage to the other, and in no way at all does any part of this look like it was ever traced from the other one. The poses are nowhere near being exactly the same. Spider-Man's arms coming out behind the head of the other guy and behind the arm on this guy. It's
Yeah, and like they're recognizable as like similar, but not exactly the same, and that's a really neat thing.
Yeah. So he did a true homage. He said, "Hey, I want to be done after this pose, but not be the exact same thing as that pose."
That's right.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I feel like I really lucked out when I found this artist. You see, I posted up a classify an ad on I think it was DeviantArt. I just was looking for an artist, and it's like fishing. You gotta get the one really good fish out of a bunch of mediocre or bad fish, and it's hard to find, but you can get them, and I got it. He's from Italy, and I swear, these people from these Latin origin countries, they're just kicking our asses when it comes to Western art styles. Like while we were fooling around with the Steven Universe stuff, they were making this. But
oh, that was interesting. I am playing with my microphone here. I just went ahead and said automatically adjust the microphone volume, and we'll see if that does anything to it. Everyone's saying the microphone's going strange tonight.
Yeah, I can kind of hear that, but thankfully it's not as bad as I've heard it before. So I guess we can manage.
Well, let me do this. And now I'm back. Sometimes just taking yourself out and coming back in, fixes cameras, fixes mics. Could be.
Yeah, like that's right.
I'm 30 years IT. By now, I should know. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? But I didn't. I've had the mic on all day because I had a lunch meeting with Marv Studios over their arrivals. So I wanted to. So I didn't bother turning the mic off. Maybe it's just been on too long too.
Yeah, I mean that's all right. I can handle that. I mean, it's good to talk like this and promote. Like it feels good to be able to actually get it out there for the first time. I mean, it's when all like in secret with me and only sharing with a few people, and now I'm promoting it. Just feels like I'm making it.
Yeah, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. And wait until the launch happens, and you wait until the launch is over with, and you're like, oh, we got to produce this book now. So
yeah.
So, other than this one, how many email addresses have you? How many people have signed up so far?
Oh, let's see.
I'm already in.
Huh? Oh, how many have signed up so far? It was for the first few days. I wasn't sure if it's good or bad, all things considered, because I'm completely new. But I got 19 within 3 days, and just before I joined here, it became 20.
Well, there you go. We did something. we got one. We don't have the artwork yet from Matt Weldon. That's coming soon, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's a busy guy, and he said he'd be able to get it by like November or so. I mean, as long as I got some to show off, and by the time the real campaign runs, I mean, that'll be good enough. He will do that all the time. Just proof of concept.
So when are you looking to launch on this one?
I'm thinking it hopefully later this year, either October to November or December. I mean, if everything goes well enough, like
Well, don't rush it, and bear in mind you are heading into the holiday season. So if you launch something in December, everybody's spending their money on something else around that time of year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's what I'm hoping to launch at, but as we know, like sometimes things don't always go to plan.
Yeah. So if this is still set, looks like you're going with a $500 flex goal, which tells me that you're committed to making this book no matter how much you make.
Oh, that was I haven't really set it yet. Like okay. It just that's the default setting.
That's the default setting. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. But let's see. But yeah, I had to get, what was I saying? Like, yeah, I went to the job offer section on DeviantArt, and it's like you have to sit through a whole lot of bad to mediocre artists to find some good ones, but you can find them. And I looked out with this Andrea Enrico from Italy, and it's like he has on his profile, he said he graduated from like this top art school with like a perfect 115 out of 115 score, and yeah, you can see why. Like
he likes drawing the muscles on these guys. So.
Yeah, and he's also, well, of course, he's from Italy, so he knows how to draw women too.
Well, yeah, they do. They have museums there. They go to the Louvre every day for lunch. Well, not the Louvre's in France, but they've got museums there, surrounded by all those Roman statues of goddesses. Yeah.
And what was it?
Molto bella.
Yeah, and I instructed him like as a guide to like go for like a copper age feel, like 86 or around that time, and I was pretty impressed when I first got the art in. Like I grabbed the nearest like back issue of that time, like to compare, and I saw the close similarities. That I was like, I think it was Excalibur in '88 when I and running by the picture, I was like, I can see where he's drawing from.
Yeah. So this, and he's doing the interior artwork here as well, not just that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. He's doing the interior art, the everything from the pencils, inks, and colors. Well, he says he has some people to help him out because he runs this team called Art Steady, which is specifically for people to help run indie comics. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, not for asking for a straight up dollar figure here, but you've got to pay this guy.
Oh yeah, I do. It's worth. He is definitely on the pricier end for me, but at the same time, it's like here's the thing: you get what you pay for. Like if you hire someone who's mediocre but he charges a low price, that's what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm leading to is what do you think you need to set your goal at?
Well,
to be able to make this work.
Well, I probably shouldn't give away the exact pay rate, but it's like
don't do that. But ballpark says you're gonna need 5,000. You're gonna need 7.
Yeah, here's the funny thing: I've paid for those pages, and I've paid for the cover, and I have 20 pages in total already paid for. That's already been done. So I guess I'd only need to pay to crowdfund the rest, but I probably need to pay for a few more up until then. So I'm guessing it'd be like I don't know, I'll just say 3,000 or 4,000 and at the start.
That's a reachable goal. So if you were to set it for 5,000, I don't think anyone would say that hey, you're reaching for the moon there.
Oh yeah,
I've seen some that were like, oh, my goal's 5 figures. Like, dude, you've got no comics in your campaign in your Beck history.
That's
but
right.
It's what I need. Well,
yeah, it's like I knew I had to get enough paid for before I started because I wanted enough to show off, and I wanted to bring down the price of what I would need to get. And that's I think that's a good way to do it there. I think I'm at a good point, and I hope to get a little more by the time I start.
Yeah. Now, speaking of pricing, at this point in the game, you should already have been looking at printers and paper stock and all the stuff that you want to make this a physical deal. Who have you settled on a printer yet? Or
yeah, I think I have. I think I'm going to go with Mixum. Like they're based in the UK and they have a US branch. Like it's funny. I almost got duped into going with Print Ninja until I learned by accident that they're based in China and there's all sorts of problems with that. And I was like, "Woo! I dodged a bullet."
Yeah, I like Mixum, especially for our crowdfunders that are in the UK and Europe, because they can print there and distribute throughout Europe, and they could print over here and distribute in the US, and they don't have to pay that whole international shipping business.
That's good to know. I'm just glad I didn't go to Print Ninja because I see people promote them, like people I trust on YouTube, but they look trustworthy because they have a good website. I had no idea they were based in China until I got an update saying they had huge problems with the Chinese print. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I almost went with these guys.
Yeah, there's print. They're not Print Ninja. There's obviously the Mixum, and then there's Comic Wellspring, which is another good company in the U.S. that does good comics printing.
Yeah,
but honestly, if you can find an offset printer locally, and search within 20-mile radius of your town, just say, hey, do you do offset printing? Do you do comic book sized? You might be able to spend local and have eyes on as soon as something comes off the press for quality control.
Yeah, that's right. But it's funny learning these lessons. This is like I say, I've had to learn a lot of lessons to get up to this point with writing. I had world builder syndrome, and I try to do too much at once. I get overwhelmed and frustrated, and I learned I had to keep cutting back and keep doing it more. And then it just kind of came to me after all this time of repetition and having it pounded into me. Yes, this is how I do it. It was, and that's what led to me making this story right here. And even then, I'm still trying to improve. It's funny. His art is so good. I actually did a rewrite of the script the first time I got it in because I had to make it good enough to match the art. I didn't want to underperform on the writing when the art is so phenomenal.
Yeah, you had mentioned before that you'd had to learn some lessons with the writing. How did you do that? I mean, did you have feedback from beta readers or?
Yeah, like I have some close friends who review my work, and they said like I just it was there was this thing where I have all these big ideas, but I didn't know where to start or how to start, and I do too much at once, and it was just really rough. And at first I was actually trying to write all this stuff in prosaic form. But that's not really my thing. It's because I couldn't afford to make a comic book back then, so I was like, this is the best I can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm here because I was able to get enough money to make this. Well, just enough.
So now you just write it in novel format. You were writing it in novel format.
Well, I mean, sort of. There was a lot of beta heroes I was working on, a lot of ideas, and it was when I also realized some hard learned lessons, like just basically you don't have to plan out everything at the start. In fact, you don't even have to plan out that much. Just focus on the story and then build from there.
All right.
I wish I knew all this stuff from back then. Back then, it would have been so helpful.
Well, we got to start sometime, or else,
Yeah, and what you mentioned about an artist of this quality of being spendy. I mean, that was a lesson I had to learn. I have to go for the artists that aren't exactly cheap because they put out the best work most of the time.
Yeah.
Because I learned the hard way that if you go for a cheap artist, you get bad results. Like I originally tried to crowdfund a different hero with a different artist, and like he was actually a decent artist when it was someone other than superhero, but when it came to superhero, it was just so stilted and flat, and
wasn't his style.
Plus, like he had this thing, like he didn't listen to what my instructions when it came to designing characters. Like obviously, like when you give them instruction, they design the character. It's not always how you perfectly imagine them in your mind, but he would completely ignore it. Like I give him one thing, and then he turns something completely different. I'm like, dude, you just completely ignored me. It's like, what the hell? And that was getting frustrating. So then that led me to here.
So did you when you designed your characters, did you sketch them out yourself?
Oh no. I mean, what I did was I basically wrote in detail like all these different parts because sadly, this is the thing about sad part of being creative and comics is I can't draw. That's so I have to kind of just work with the artists and try to give a good vivid description and see what kind of magic they can work with it.
Yeah, I've been told by commercial artists that everybody can draw. You just have to take the lessons and learn how to and practice.
Yeah, I might have to do that at some point. I mean, just to be good enough where I can draw a fairly decent beta version of a character to hand off to the artist to make it good.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, yeah, I would turn in something that would look like Dogman or Captain Underpants, and it looks like this, only good.
Yeah, but yeah, so with the story here, I naturally I always gravitated to Marvel. It's a sort of just I mean, I always liked all the comics, but I always gravitated to Marvel because it really spoke to me. So people have their preferences, and that was mine. And I really regretted how it went to such shit like in the last few years. A story about that, and it was for us. It was a funny thing because before I discovered all this, I was confused and was dumbfounded by why everything was going so bad. But then when I spoke up about it, everyone would dogpile me because I was in some echo chamber communities. Let's just say I was like, is it really me? I don't feel like I'm wrong, but everyone's telling me I'm wrong. But it turns out, no, I was right.
Yeah. Well, they've been the sales been going down per title for a long time. I know that overall sales are up.
Oh yeah,
slapping stuff out there, and dollar-wise, they're up because the prices have been going up. We keep getting number ones and milestone issues and such like that. But on the whole, Kelly Sue the Comic of all people. Finally came out and said, yeah, stores are closing, sales are down. Like, thank you. Welcome to Comicsgate, Kelly Sue the Comic.
Yeah. It's I remember it just recently, what was his name? I think it was Brian Hibbs. Like he was the store owner in San Francisco. And he was the guy who couldn't stop going about how comics have never been better ever. It's all great, and he just had to close down one of his stores in this supposedly wonderful time. You don't do that when things are great.
Well, he didn't close down one of his original stores. He closed down a store from Nerdrotic.
That's right, but still, like he had to contract. Like I mean, if things are so great, you'd expand. You'd buy a new store, or like buy the store next to it and break down the wall and open it up. Like that's not what we do in a healthy market.
Yeah, we have a show every other Saturday night with people who own and run comic shops. And who had for COVID 2 stores that he'd run for 40 years in Little Rock, and had to close both of them because COVID didn't lock them down because the stores stayed open. But when Diamond shut down, and Diamond was already screwing them over with shipments and delayed shipments, damaged goods, and then employees were quitting because of COVID money was there, and they weren't sure that the stores were going to be open, and they thought they needed to find different jobs. And with Diamond especially not shipping him any more new material, it was 2 stores, 1 man, and he couldn't run them both. So he's like, well, best time in the world to close down is now. So.
Yeah. It's it's funny. Like it was just fun. As I said, I was like in some communities that were like comic book communities. They're like echo chambers, I say, and I kind of stayed silent for a while because they're like, they shamed me into it. But what really, let's just say the straw that broke the camel's back came last year. It was when they announced the new Warriors with Safe Space and Snowflake. That was the moment. Like there was no returning from that. Like
they never even put it out. It never happened, but.
Like that was like the moment where I was like, well, that's when I knew this wasn't right, and that's when I left with the current industry and went to indie, went to also a lot of back issues. I read mostly back issues and indie, and I also watched some anime. I want to get into some manga too, but I really wish there was some more good Western like super comics being made outside the indie scene, because it's like we're just kicking their asses. They have all the advantage in the world.
Yeah, well, we've lost the superhero genre game somewhere along the way. It's the big 2 just well, I know what it is. I keep saying it, and I keep being told that I'm wrong. But the big 2 are no longer being run editorially by people who love comics anymore. They're run by people who want to tell their stories and use comics to do it, but they're not the stories that the audience wants.
That's right. And I've heard insider reports, like you'll say that Disney, since they bought out Marvel, they actually assigned quote marketing directors that basically guide the way the company runs. Basically, that's why they retool a bunch of characters being woke, introduce a bunch of new woke characters to virtue signals, to do the new direction, and of course adapt to TV and movies that way. It's man, I wish Disney would get broken up already. They're like the evil empire. But
they own everything, so maybe they'll approach Discovery and buy DC, and then it'll just be one big comic book company. And
I think Marvel and DC, they would actually be making more money if they just stopped making new comics altogether and focus entirely on back issues. And hell, like do crowdfunding too. Like say if Marvel does goes to probably Kickstarter in this case, they release like a big Chris Claremont X-Men collection with special perks and stuff. That would make more money than anything they're doing now.
Well, Dan DiDio was kvetching about that because they were having these reprints at DC. These they weren't the facsimile editions. That was a Marvel one, but DC was doing the same thing with their classic back issues being reprinted. And he said, that we're making more money off of reprinting these back issues than we are off of new material. And rather than learn the obvious lesson that was there in front of his eyes, he just blamed the comics audience for spending the money in the wrong places.
That's right. I mean, I hear a lot of the stores that survive, well, they either do general hobby shops like just D&D, manga, and all that geek stuff, and Funko Pop dolls, but also a lot of them actually convert entirely to back issues, and like I guess the cutoff date would be like before 2011 or so. And I have to admit, that sounds pretty cool. I might have to find one of those someday and see what that's like. I might have to shop around
Yeah,
because I heard it said that if you try to open a comic book shop trying to put and sell what they're putting out now, you won't last 6 months.
no, there's nothing anybody wants to really buy long term from
Yeah.
Now, thank God, my LCS in up in St. Louis area, they specialize in getting in the esoteric and they really support the indie market. They buy a lot of the crowdfunded stuff and then resell it there in their shop. So,
Yeah, that's what I've been wanting for a while. Like, I wanted a publisher like who specializes in putting all these like indie stuff, like crowdfunding and like certain web series, like stuff that you can actually sell and start putting that out there. And I'm sure that's inevitable. It's happening in some small way, but I want to see that happen big time. I think all the stores would love having new stuff they can sell.
Oh yeah, that they could sell. They got plenty of new stuff. They want new stuff that they can sell.
Yeah. Plus, it would also embarrass the mainstream comics that they had to compete directly on the shelf with these books because they know they get trounced. Like that's why Mark Waid went after Anarch Press for Jawbreakers. They knew they could never compete with it.
Well, there's a way to do that is to include retailer tiers on your crowdfunding campaign so that the retailers have an option of getting in and buying in bulk at a discount so that they can put them on the stands.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I think I might do that, and hopefully later on I can get some distributor. I've heard well, Liberty. To see who's available. I've heard Diamond is actually opening up to the idea of doing that indie and CG stuff, probably because they're probably getting desperate now.
No, don't go Diamond.
That's what I was thinking, but it was interesting when they were like, we can do CG because we'll take anything at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing, and the reason that one of the reasons why crowdfunding exists, one of the many reasons, is that Diamond would start off an indie person and they'd run their first issue and then they'd say, yeah, we didn't like your numbers, we're not going to carry you in the next catalog.
Yeah,
they've got issue 2 printed and they've got nowhere to sell it because retailers don't have a way to buy it.
Man, I've heard all sorts of horror stories about Diamond. So I briefly considered it because I thought that sounded maybe, but I was like, nah. After I remember the horror stories, like, no, not a good idea.
You want to take your books to Liberty Entertainment Distribution through Berry and Grants Corporation, and they're getting independent books into comic book shops. They've got the network in place. They've got an infrastructure for it.
Liberty Books.
Liberty Entertainment Distribution.
Let me just type it down real quick so I don't forget.
And if you ever do forget, just go on YouTube and watch some of the Indie Volt podcasts that talk about it all the time.
All right. Liberty Books Distribution.
Yeah, Liberty Entertainment Distribution.
Entertainment. All right.
Very, and you owe me a comic book.
Oh yeah, that's good to know, man. Thanks.
All right. So, is there anything else, Tyson, that we should talk about this book before we wrap the show up here? For a good hour.
Yeah, I mean, time flies when you're having fun. But I guess just sorry, I gotta get my words together. I'll come back sometime in the future when it's gonna launch or when it's already launched. But basically, it's what I'm aiming for is a fun 48-page story that's a good introduction, start to finish, and like that fight scene. Well, the cover there, it's indicative of something big. There's gonna be a big knockout, drag out fight throughout the end, and I hope it's satisfying because that's what the cover's from.
Yeah, we didn't come to comic books to watch them eat dinner. So
yeah,
we want to see good guys fight bad guys.
Yeah, contrary to what you see on today's comics, but yeah.
Harrow and Berg is got the right idea here. Support great superhero comics.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Get out there, sign up for this one, folks. Now, if you do sign up for this, by the way, I haven't read, but you'll get the latest updates and news for the campaign. You will get an early bird discount by having it in the list here. So
that seemed like the safe thing to put up there. I'm gonna gonna see what would be the best cutoff price. Like would be it's like 25 normally, so it'd be like the early bird be like 15.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a discount.
Oh, I'll have to look into that. I'm gonna see.
No, you're good.
But
yeah, that's a great discount.
yeah, I want to make sure I'm doing all the right moves here because it is like uncharted territory for me. But thankfully, people already made that trek, so I can look what they do.
Yeah, and that's the other cool thing about the crowdfunding industry is that if you have a question before you launch, go to somebody that's already done it and say, "How do I do this?" And everybody and anybody will be glad to tell you how to make it in crowdfunding.
Oh yeah.
It's competition, but we all know that the more people who are succeeding at it, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, your boy Zach had this saying like a rising tide lifts all boats. Like he said, like the '90s was the epitome of that, and this is the same way.
Yeah, so the more people that we can help succeed and put out some good comics, it's gonna be better all around. So
yeah,
with that in mind, folks, if you want some good comics, put your name on this list so that you can get alerted when the thing goes live, and you can go in and take a look at it and see who the artists who are involved. Check out some of the story because there'll probably be word bubbles by that time.
Yeah, and more to look at.
Yeah,
more to look at. I think sometime in the near future I'll be back, and when the full campaign is up, and hopefully I have a lot of new cool stuff to show you.
Yeah, do that. Definitely hit us up when you got the campaign in and going, and we'll do our best to throw some backers at you.
Thanks, man. Well, I guess that's about wraps it up. So I hope you have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Tyson, for coming on the show and bringing Rebound #1 to us.
Thanks
folks in the chat, glad you're here. We don't have a show without you.
Yeah.
And as always, we just hope that while you were here, you had a blast.